Thank you, Chairman. I wanted to, first of all, thank you for your important work. Appreciate your being here. And, you know, I think, as Senator Warner said, I've been glad to work with him on the Budget Performance Task Force. And one of the things that I'm interested in getting at as well is, and you and I have talked about this in the past, as I understand your testimony, only 29% of the issues raised by GAO have actually been fully addressed, 29%. Right. And so a lot of these reports sit on the shelf. So I've got a bill with Senator Manchin that the chairman referenced called the Duplication Elimination Act. And it's really what I like to call a bill that kicks all of us where we need to be kicked to act. The executive branch actually take up the work that you're doing and provide recommendations to Congress, and then provides an expedited process for Congress to act so we can really move these recommendations either affirmatively or negatively and really act on them. What else do you think we should do to ensure that your recommendations are fully addressed? Because you do such important work, and my colleagues have already talked about some of it today that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, one of the things in particular this committee is poised to do that other committees would not. A lot of the areas that we suggest be addressed span jurisdiction of multiple committees in the Congress. And as a result, unless there's action by multiple committees, there's really not going to be much progress in those areas. I'm not optimistic based on the track record that would happen.
So our jurisdiction becomes fragmented as well?
Yes. Yep. Yes. And the same thing happens in the executive branch. I mean, the departments and agencies are in their lanes, and OMB is the only one that can look across the agencies. Like, we've made recommendations that some of the loan programs we believe between agriculture and HUD can be merged, and you have more efficient structure and better service to the public. But nobody's taking the initiative within the executive branch when there are multiple agencies involved very often. So I think that is going to be the pivotal point in whether that 29% is really going to move much or not in the future.
So this is a great bipartisan opportunity we have here in the Senate Budget Committee because we cross jurisdictions.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Great. Yes. And I look forward to working with the chairman and the ranking member, because I think this is something we all can agree on. And all of our, all of our constituents, it drives them crazy for good reason when they look at when we talk with them about your reports on duplication and fraud, and they say, well, that's our money going there. So I hope we can work together on that with this committee's jurisdiction. I wanted to ask you about a particular area, and that's STEM education. STEM education is so important, and in 2010 you found 209 STEM education programs, and as I understand, based on your recommendations, they've been consolidated to 158. The President's 2016 budget proposes to eliminate another 20 STEM programs. Here's my interest in this. We happen to have in New Hampshire an inventor named Dean Kamen who came up with a brilliant, basically public-private partnership in FIRST Robotics that's across this country that's actually keeps metrics about kids going in STEM, learning how to build a robot, and then going back into the field. So of the 138, assuming that we eliminate the 20 the administration has asked for, of the 138 that are left, that still seems like quite a bit. And I know that the National Science and Technology Council has developed a 5-year strategic plan. But help me understand, are we measuring what these programs are doing? Because it seems like we have a bipartisan interest in improving STEM education in this country. And how good are we measuring whether these 138, even from the progress we've made, are actually helping improve STEM education and getting more of our kids ready for the jobs of the 21st century?
Yeah. First, I'm encouraged that the 5-year plan and the guidance that the National Technology Council has put out provides some guidelines on what should be evaluated. But the last time we looked at this, now admittedly we looked at the larger set of STEM programs, we found very few of them had been evaluated. In fact, 66% had not been at that time. Now, I don't know how many of the remaining 136, we can go back and take a look at it, but if you, based on what our prior experience would be, there's, not enough of them are getting evaluated in order to know what effectively works or not. And that should be something that the Congress, I mean, it's already required under the Government Performance and Results Act, but nobody's enforcing it.
Right.
And I think the Congress could do a lot to require this.
I think this is an issue across programs. So we've got these, we're not, it's required, but we aren't really measuring whether we're getting results out of where we're putting in programs.
Well, I think that, you know, until the Congress starts saying, well, look, we're not going to fund you unless you tell us and demonstrate that you're effective and the money we're going to give you is going to be invested well, there's no incentive for the agencies to change what they've been doing.
Right. I agree with you, and I'm hoping even just a measure like Joe Manchin and I's bill might just at least get people knowing that we're not going to let these reports sit on the shelf, that we are going to say, what are you doing with the taxpayer dollars, I think would be helpful. And I know my time is up. My clock isn't moving, but I'm assuming it's up soon. I wanted to ask a specific request if you'd be able to provide a list of, we can't find the STEM programs. Like, we can't get a list of what's left.
Okay.
So if you can help us with that, because we're very interested in it, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.